some years ago at St. Stephen, I heard this program, store to door, and we've got Ginger Sisco today, who is president of Sisco Public Relations. She founded her own consulting business in 1995. Previously, she was vice president of marketing and community relations at Minnesota Public Radio, one of my favorite stations. Director of promotions and community relations at CCO, and deputy state travel director for the Minnesota Office of Tourism, now called Explore Minnesota. Now grass grows under your feet. She taught marketing and communication for the graduate nonprofit management program in the Hamline University School of Business as an adjunct faculty member for 14 years. She serves on the board of Minnesota United Methodist Builders, chairs the Northwest Hennepin Human Services Advisory Commission, and is vice president of the board of Store to Door. And Leslie Stiles, Don doesn't have the whole thing, in that family. Leslie Stiles was one of the people that invited me to this presentation at our church. And Ginger, with all this busyness, you still have time for golf. It's just truly amazing. Welcome.
It's a real pleasure to come to talk to you today, especially because I hear that you're so active in the community and such good fundraisers and such wonderful support for Rotary across the state. And that's fabulous. It's a real pleasure to be here and to meet all of you. I'm going to start right out by drawing some word pictures for you. I remember the day my mom called me and she said she was sure that she couldn't pass her driver's test. After my dad's death a decade earlier, my mom had been living successfully and independently at home, the same home that my mom and dad lived in for more than 25 years. Now she couldn't get anywhere on her own anymore, and particularly she couldn't get to the grocery store. So that's one picture. Here's another one. A week ago, I had an 80-year-old church friend over for lunch. She wanted to see the peonies in my backyard. She had recently moved into Walker Place, a senior apartment complex. I had sung in the choir with her for years, and I knew that she was a veteran bus rider, but she's getting more and more frail. Walker Place has a van, and it does provide rides to the grocery store. But in the car on the way home, Avis confided in me that when she took the van to the grocery store, it took so much energy to do the shopping that she was wiped out for the rest of the day. So let me give you one more word picture. A friend of mine has a dad who has congestive heart failure. He's tethered to oxygen at home with a really long cord that's connected to the compressor in the bedroom. The cord makes it possible for him to navigate all around his apartment. He did most of the cooking when his wife was alive, but now he can't navigate and carry groceries. And I was telling Karin as I was driving in today, coming off of 494 up at France Avenue, coming around the bend there at the light, there was a gentleman who had a cart, and in the cart were the groceries. And I don't know whether he was shopping for himself or whether he was shopping for a friend, but the first thing that goes through my mind is, what does he do in the wintertime when he can't walk with that cart? If any of these stories are sounding familiar to you, it's likely that you've got a colleague at work that talks about a parent every now and then, you got a neighbor, you have a friend at church or your place of worship who's telling you some stories that let you know that there is a senior out in the community that needs a little help. Store to Door is a nonprofit, and we meet a very specific need. We deliver groceries and household essentials to seniors who can't get to or navigate a grocery store. We offer peace of mind to our clients and often to their caregivers. We offer a personal and a reliable service. Our clients are quite independent at home, and they want to stay there. Our service is simple. Every 2 weeks, one of our volunteer order takers calls our client on the phone, and they call, the volunteer order taker calls from their own home, and they call and get an order from our client. They call every 2 weeks. It's the same person who calls every time, and they get to know each other on the phone. They exchange information about families and what people have been doing in the building and in the neighborhood. Our order taker has access online to a list of the thousands, and it's like, I don't know, 20,000 items in a Cub grocery store. It's right, okay, thank you. Cub Food is our fabulous grocery partner. Our clients can order anything from the pharmacy, from the deli, cleaning products, toilet paper, cat food, flowers, birthday cakes, fresh produce and meat, anything a Cub store sells. And I can tell you that all of our clients eat bananas. Every single one of our orders includes bananas, and the bananas are ripe for eating right away and green for eating next week. 2 days after the order is taken, volunteers shop the grocery orders. They shop between 6 o'clock in the morning and 10 o'clock in the morning in very specially selected Cub stores. We serve the entire 7-county metro area, and we pick 6 Cub stores because of their geographic location. And we actually shop in the Bloomington Cub store on Lyndale. That's one of our 6 very geographically located stores. Our delivery people, who are not volunteers because they have to pass a background check, those volunteers deliver the groceries to our clients using our 11 refrigerated vans. We deliver the groceries to the kitchens of our clients. We lift heavy things. We put things away if they ask us to put things away. We loosen lids, especially on the pickle jars, and sometimes those milk cartons where you got to get your finger into that little white plastic thing, and if you have arthritis like I do, your finger doesn't fit. Our clients know their delivery person, and they trust them to enter their homes. In fact, they call them those nice young men, and those nice young men are generally about 75. And they've been seeing the same clients for several years. Our clients pay for their groceries when they're delivered. They can use their coupons. They pay a service fee on a sliding scale based on their income, and they're the ones who tell us what their income is. And for some that we serve, the fee is covered by alternative care or elderly waivers care plans. It's really easy to sign up for our service. It can be done on the phone. You have to be 60 years old or older, and you have to be unable to navigate a grocery store or get to a store for groceries and household items. There's no income requirement. 73% of our clients live in poverty or low-income households. 54% are over the age of 80, and 85% of them are women. Yeah, we do deliver groceries, but we do a whole lot more than that. We connect with our clients. Our volunteer order takers talk to them every 2 weeks so we can hear changes on the phone if they become more forgetful, or if they tell us that they're falling more frequently, or something that we know is important for us to pay attention to. We're a very important social connection for them. We always get an emergency contact or 2 for each of our clients, so that if we sense or hear or see a change in their health, we will call them emergency contact. And oftentimes those emergency contacts are their kids in other cities and other states. 85% of our clients live alone. Many of our clients have had the same order taker and the same delivery person for several years. So this social connection is incredibly important to them. In fact, I recently heard one of our delivery people say that he delivers to a man every 2 weeks, and that man tells him that he, the delivery person, is the only human being he sees at all. So now let's take a really quick history lesson about our care of the aging population. In 1954, Congress provided the first funding for the building of nursing homes. Just 6 years later, in 1960, a real estate developer in Phoenix created Sun City, a city that limited its residents to retirees. Then, nearly 25 years later, in 1983, the first living center with assistance opened in Portland, the birth of assisted living. It was at that same time, in 1983, 30 years ago, that Store to Door began its operation serving seniors. We started when Dr. David Berger, who was then working at the Wilder Foundation, was doing research on seniors. And in his research, he found that access to groceries was one of the key reasons why seniors were either able to stay in their homes or unable to stay in their homes. So he and another retired Wilder colleague started delivering groceries out of the back of his station wagon, and that first year they did 1,600 deliveries themselves. Today, we serve 1,800 seniors in the 7-county metro area. We have 11 refrigerated vans. We make 21,000 deliveries a year. 43% of the clients in our last client survey told us that we were their only source of groceries. So I'm guessing that there are some of you out there saying, well, like, what about Meals on Wheels? About 14% of our clients receive their meal deliveries. But where will they get toothpaste and Kleenex and cleaning products and pet food? Meals on Wheels doesn't provide 3 meals a day, 7 days a week. So how about Coburn Deliveries and other grocery stores that provide grocery delivery service? And I say, there is room for us all. We applaud any way that seniors have access to food. Our clients don't use computers. Some have very poor vision. Some have difficulty placing an order efficiently and quickly. Often, Coburn Delivers will call us and say, we'd like to refer this customer to you because it's taking too long to get the grocery order and we can't always understand what she's saying, and so we think that she would be better served by you. As a community, we're all in this aging service together and all in this aging community together for some very clear reasons. American demographics are undergoing a seismic shift, and it's impacting Minnesota just like everywhere else in the world. And I bet I'm not the first speaker to Rotary who's talked to you about these numbers. Both the country and the state's populations are aging really rapidly. In 2030, some 1.3 million Minnesotans will be aged 65 or older. That is more than double the number in that age group in the year 2000. Indeed, people aged 85 and older are the fastest growing demographic in Minnesota. We have the highest life expectancy in the country here in Minnesota at 81 years. Those of us who are baby boomers hear people talk about our generation every day because we're bringing about huge changes in our communities across the world in the workforce, in housing, and in support services. We're in the midst of a cultural transformation. Today, half of the very old live without a spouse, and we have fewer children than ever before to be with us as we age. Average rent in an assisted living community in Minnesota runs about $36,000 a year. Entry fees into some of the senior communities can be between $60,000 and $120,000. Meanwhile, the median income of people 80 or older nationally is only about $15,000 a year. Surgeon Atul Gawande, I was talking to Karin about this because she's reading his book right now, and I just finished reading his book. It's a New York Times bestseller, and the title of the book is Being Mortal. And I think Karin and I both recommend it highly. He says in the book, being at home, staying in your home is as essential to you as water is to a fish. Home is where your own priorities hold sway. Away from home, you lose your freedom. Store to Door helps seniors stay independent as long as possible. We're part of a developing network of senior services, including better medical outcomes, the growth of retirement communities, chore services, transportation services. We're all in this together. And when I say we're all in this together, let me give you some examples. Store to Door couldn't do its work without a grocery partner. We take groceries out of Cub Food for our clients every week without paying for them. Our clients pay for their groceries when they are delivered. Then we pay Cub Food. Cub is a wondrous partner. The complex operation of having software that our order takers access that lines up with the inventory at a Cub Food, it's a major operational challenge, and we've been working on it as a nonprofit organization very particularly for the last several years. And it's very operationally challenging to do the network on clients. Another example is our clients use their EBT cards, their food stamp cards, even though they weren't the ones doing the shopping in the grocery store. That permission took major work with our Minnesota congressional representatives in Washington and a negotiation with the Federal Department of Agriculture just to become an exception to the rules on food stamps. Remember that I said 73% of our clients live at or below poverty level, and many of them need to use their EBT cards. And here's the biggest community connection, and I'm almost done. We depend on 600 volunteers. They are the order takers and the grocery shoppers. For you here in Bloomington, you would see our volunteers at the Cub Food on Lendale. You would see our volunteer grocery shoppers between 6 a.m. and 10 a.m. on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings. You'll see our vans in the Cub store parking lot. We couldn't do our work without the commitment of our volunteers. So here's a time to remind you, there are brochures on your table, and I encourage you to take them if you know someone that you think may need the service, if you know someone who might like to be an order taker. And our order takers can go to Florida in the wintertime because you don't have to be here to take those orders. You just make a phone call and have your laptop. If you, the other thing, of course, I can't pass up the opportunity to say you could be donors. Our service fee that we charge, our delivery service fee that we charge our clients is on a sliding scale between $5 and $15. But we have to raise $34 per month per client to provide the services that we provide. We have a very small staff and a budget of $1.4 million. So I want to leave you with another word picture in your mind of a senior who may use a walker at home, who may have fading vision from macular degeneration, who may have crippling arthritis, who may have damage from a stroke. Yes, they have challenges, but they're independent and they're in their own homes. They're preparing the food they enjoy. They're living life as fully as possible. They are living independently on their own terms. Store to Door is really proud to do the work that we do. We would welcome any new volunteers, any new donors, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share our story with you today. Thank you. You've been a really attentive audience. I'll answer questions, but there may not be time from what Dave is saying.
One question.
Yes.
Can you stay later afterwards?
Of course, happy to stay, yes.
Thank you for your words. I just had a real quick question in regards to demographics. What percentage would you say are folks that are either speaking a second language that are calling on your services, and are you able to meet those needs?
I can't give you the demographic information, but I can tell you that we're having the conversation that you just asked very specifically, because Cub Foods is getting broader and broader in what they offer in their stores. So there should be no limitation, and we'll work as hard as we can to make sure that we can serve the nourishment needs no matter what they are from our client base. But we are working on it right now, and we're really aware of the need for us to be as cognizant of it as possible.
Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.